Hey guys, good morning once again. It's me again with another video. Part two, part two on the Boeing B17 and the consolidated B24 Liberator. The war, the battle for the Atlantic began a real bad start for the Allies at the start of the war in 1939 because there were no long-range aircraft, and that came to Britain for the consolidated PBY Catalina, which they used for coastal patrol and for attacks against German U-boats. And the short Sunderland, where only were two of the Allied flying boats. But there were no long-range aircraft, so the year of America's entry into World War II, in 1942, you had a flight of B-17s departing from here in the States. They went to Greenland. They were due to arrive in England. Most of the aircraft that included B-17s, P-38 Lightnings, and P-47 Thunderbolts have ran out of fuel, and they had to make an emergency landing on Greenland. And those planes were lost for years. The B-17, on the other hand, started World War II on Sunday, December 7th, 1941. B-17s were coming in from March Field to Hickam when they came under attack. None of the flying fortresses were not lost, the ones that were coming in from March Air Force Base. However, some of the other B-17s that were caught on the ground, that were neatly parked and were destroyed by Japanese Zeros and Aichi D-38 Vols. It made it easy pickings for the Japanese. And when the war began, the only version of the B-7 the only version of the B-17 and the B-24 there was the E version of the Flying Fortress and the D variant of the Liberator. Both planes served for the 2 years throughout the war in Europe, North Africa, and Italy from 1942 to 43, and then in the Pacific, where the B-17 Flying Fortress was taking out the Japanese, and the E variant of the Flying Fortress was phased out and was was used for Operation Aphrodite. They had B-17s and B-24s packed with enough explosives that would render Arnold Schwarzenegger. They would be flown on missions. They were the first four-engine aircraft to be flown by remote control and deliberately crashed. Soon after, by 1943, new versions of the B-17 was appearing that included the F version, and for consolidated, the B-24J. And things went accordingly throughout 1943, as the B-24 with a total of 18,000 Liberators that were built. And the J variant was to be followed by the H variant of the B24 Liberator in 1944. 1944 to 45. And the B17 with the excuse me, with the last version, the B17G. And these would do the 1,000 plane raids against Germany in 1944, with P-51 Mustangs flying escort for the bombers from England all the way to Germany and back. Some B-17s were fitted with Tokyo tanks to extend the aircraft's range. And the B-17 was used by the RAF throughout the war. It was used for a number of different purposes. By the end of World War II, in 1945, when the last B-17 and B-24 rolled off the assembly line, that was it. The last B-24 to roll off the assembly line was number 24,000. It was the last Liberator to be delivered. And the B-17 after World War II were used by excuse me, by the U.S. Coast Guard alongside the A-10, which was a version of the consolidated PBY Catalina. And the B-24 was used by the Indian Air Force up until 1983, and then they started replacing their B-24s with Tupolev Tu-95 Bears, long-range bombers. And today, of the B-24s that are left today, like Strawberry Bitch, that is in the Museum of the U.S. Air Force, Little Diamond, flying for the Consolidated Air Force in Texas, A Dragon's Tail, Witchcraft, which flies for the Collins Foundation, and All-American, which flies for Kermit Weeks in Polk City, Florida. And that is it for part 2 on the B-17 and the B-24 Liberator. To know more about these two aircraft, if you have any questions for me, leave a comment in my comments section down below, and tell me what you think. Alright guys, that's it. I would like to say thank you very much for watching this video. Please, like always, rate, share, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this is Scott Damon signing off for now. Have a nice day.